Now that Bandai Namco has officially announced that there's going to be two Everdark bosses every week until about August until they start rotating new ones, since we have all of them now, that's a better idea than just doing one because I do not want to be stuck with just fighting Sentient Pest ever again. But besides the point, I wanted to review each Everdark boss that we've gotten so far, the three. That being Adele, the Night Baron, Fulgore, and Sentient Pest. The first one I'm going to be reviewing will be Adele, the Night Baron. He was actually an amazing start for Everdark's introduction. Adele was so unique on his third phase slash second phase, since it's technically a second phase in that boss fight. When you get into Adele, like all the other Everdarks, he starts in the second phase, exploding the floor and causing mayhem and a lag spike, most likely. Sadly, Adele's biggest weakness is that he breaks computers and whatever other console. His lag spikes for his ground attacks for some reason cause the biggest lag spikes I have ever experienced in this game for some reason. And it will chunk you, it take a decent chunk of your health at the beginning of the match. One of the biggest pros in Adele's new fight is his new third or second phase, whichever one you want to call it. In this new phase, he basically zips around to start off like a lunatic and will land or slam with a new formation of gravity rocks on his head slash jaw. You know, gaping jaw, so it's probably a jaw, but it's his head at the same time. In this phase, basically he has an assortment of new attacks, like 4 or 3 new attacks, I can't remember. It's been a little bit since I fought him. He has a double grab. He will zip around like a crazy lunatic a lot more often. He will do a lot more AoEs. He spams them like 3 or 4 times. He has this attack where he kind of like charges and leaps and then does like a drill slam attack. That one is really cool, but really easy to dodge if you know what to do. And I guess he actually has 5 because obviously the biggest thing about him, his tornado that he spawns. Big tornado that cuts about a good 2/3 of the arena down to 1/3, and it forces you all to run away from him, jump on a spirit spring over the tornado and into the boss fight. And it is so cool. It is honestly the most memorable thing about all the Everdark so far is him and that tornado and one other thing. Now, if I was to go into better detail about his boss fight in general, I would give it a good rating of about 8 out of 10. I think he's an amazing start to Everdarks, and his attacks feel challenging, yet not impossible, not unfair, unless it's that one grab attack. The one from the second phase in the normal fight where he just grabs forward. It is extremely quick, and I personally have so much trouble reading that because it's so quick. But overall, all his new attacks aren't terrible. His slams do break PCs and consoles and lag your game, but they're all not bad. For his tornado attack, you just run away from him, find the spirit springs, jump right over, and fight him continuously. For his jump drill attack, run towards him and dive into where he's dodging. There's like a green zone around where his head lands that doesn't have any like eruptions at, and you can actually get a good amount of damage in before he gets back up. For his AoE attacks, you kind of just have to get away from him if you can. It's easier to dodge him, but if you have improved dodging, it makes it a lot easier to get. You can actually iframe them a lot better. Or you can just use your ultimate and stagger amount of it if you're Wilder, Raider, Iron Eye, the assortment. But that's it for Adele. I cannot wait to play him further because he is honestly my favorite so far. Um, a good 8 out of 10 for sure. I'm leaving it low. I'm not going to bump it up to 9 or 10 just in case the ones that come out in August. I'm expecting Libra, Fissured in the Fog to get some. The rest, obviously. Gladius, he's easy in base game. He honestly needs a really challenging Everdark just to throw people off guard. But I'm only leaving him at an 8 just because I haven't seen the rest of the cast fight yet. So, and I think he's a good start. Now, next up on the release order of Everdark bosses will be Fulgore, the Darkdrift Knight Everdark boss. He is also another good boss, though in my opinion, he is the easiest boss out of the bunch. And that will knock him down a couple points just because challenge is kind of a part of the fun. If you clean sweep all of them, which, you know, all honesty, I did clean sweep all 3 of them on my first run. Oddly enough, having the most trouble with Sentient Pest, but that's a whole nother story I'll address later. Fulgore overall sits to me at like a 6.5, 6, maybe even a high, maybe a 7. In that general range, 6 to 7, you can kind of bounce around. The reason why I put Fulgore at this rating is because he is the easiest boss. His phase 2 that he starts off in honestly is more challenging than his new phase. His new phase, he basically cuts off that infected arm he has in phase 2 and regrows his normal arm. And since he has his new arm, he basically has his full arsenal of holy attacks now. Those holy attacks being a nuke shot that he basically jumps in the air, runs around the arena, and then will focus on a player to shoot nearby, and it basically explodes into a giant nuke. This attack is not horrible, but sometimes if you don't have a large enough amount of stamina and you're like playing like Recluse or Revenant, you might get caught in the blast sometimes. So I haven't tested improved dodging on it, sadly, and I'm pretty sure Executor can parry it like every other attack in the game except grabs. But the best characters I've seen to, basically tank this attack is Raider, obviously, Wilder, Iron Eye. They both have iframes on their ultimates and stuff. But in my opinion, the best character is Guardian, just for the fact that his Steel Guard can tank the heck out of it. So bad. He basically takes 0 damage from that nuke shot. Another one of Fulgore's new attacks is he would basically aim his new Holy Bow with his 2 new arms, his 1 new arm and 2 normal arms, into the air and shoot an arrow. And he basically has a flashback to the Dark Souls 3 boss where he shoots an arrow in the air and a bunch of arrows start raining down towards all 3 of the players, or player, depending on how many people are playing. This attack isn't too difficult. It homes a little bit, so it's not like a straight line towards the players. So if you roll the way, it will kind of follow behind you sometimes. And it's not terrible to just run away from. As long as you just strafe left and right, you're typically fine. You might have to roll a little bit. But the caveat to this ability is that if you get caught in it, it will hurt bad. Like, almost kill you instantly unless you have, like, a huge health pool. Getting caught in it, when I was playing, like, Iron Eye, Revenants, the low HP people who don't have a ton, they will die quick. Like, in, like, a second or less. So, he isn't too bad as long as you just stay out of the way. The rest of his attacks aren't too hard to explain. He basically has like 4 more new attacks. He has a lot more newer attacks than Adele did. And these attacks, based off the wiki, I'll go in order from the wiki has. Swinging combo is a simple one. He basically just imbues his lance with wind, and he basically will sweep it 1, 2, 3, right? You can just roll right into him, or you can even like hug his butt and he can't hit you, basically, because you're behind him. Another one is Twin Blade combo. He has like this holy Twin Blade, and he will like swipe 1, twice, 3 times. Those are also really easy and really easy to read and dodge. Golden Arrow is one that gets me occasionally. Basically, he will conjure his bow really quickly, and he will switch up on a player real bad at this. He'd be focusing on one, and then he will pull a golden arrow and just like 180 and snipe someone across once or twice. You don't know. So it's not bad as long as you just pay attention to the casting, to him in general. It might catch you off guard with an occasional like mid-animation shot, but it isn't too bad. It doesn't do that crazy damage either. The last one is the most dangerous one in my opinion. Twin Blade Fury. He pulls out that holy Twin Blade from earlier, and he will just go crazy. He spins it above his head to like wind it up, and then erratically just all over the place. It is dangerous. I have gotten caught and killed many times in this if you're not paying attention. You can kind of like go behind him, and some of the Twin Blade attacks won't hit you, but you still have to be diligent because sometimes when he's swinging, the back end of it, the other side of it, will poke behind him and still hit you. It honestly is the hardest attack in my opinion to deal with, because if you're close to him and he pulls it out, you might be done, and you might be someone like Guardian who can attempt to steel guard it and block it a lot, but chip damage will just go crazy. That's basically it for Fulgor. His new third slash second phase isn't bad whatsoever, and like I said, I honestly find his starting phase to be a lot more difficult just because it's a lot more harder to read. His like corrupted arm for some reason just gets you like randomly. Like hitbox is kind of wonky on it. But overall, he's not too difficult, and due to his easiness, he does bump him a little bit lower than Adele, but he is cool looking and he is fun fight. He honestly is the most entertaining out of all of them, just because he's such a big spectacle. But in my opinion, Adele is pretty closely matched with him in terms of spectacle and how fun he is to fight. So he doesn't meet Adele just due to his fact of how easy he is. He's on the same level of spectacle, but he's easier. So honestly, I will stamp him at a 7. Boom, right there, a 7. Sentient Pest is my least favorite. That's how I'm going to start this one off. Sentient Pest has been the least amount of times I've fought an Everdark boss out of the 3. I grinded the heck out of Dell. Fulgor, don't even talk about how much times I fought him. Sentient Pest, like 5 times this entire week. Sentient Pest has been not fun. His third phase is just not fun to me. It's a battle of attrition. You just basically do no damage to him because this new guy that pops up after they die in their first slash second phase, which is easy, they're squishy in it, basically takes no damage. And the only way you can really do damage to this guy is hitting the guy he possesses. Basically, he'll spawn, right, and he'll be invincible. You cannot hit him at all until you killed 1 or 2 of the moth or the armored bug. He will then possess that bug you kill first and will basically boost it up. They will spam more, basically. Their attacks are garbage. They're just a bunch of spam, right? First of all, the armor bug is just all AoE. That's all he does. He typically does like a leap attack, but that's super rare. It's just AoE, AoE, AoE. The moth guy has a grab attack he likes to spam a lot. It's easy to dodge most of the time, but its hitbox is a little wonky because it comes in late. Like his grab will happen, but then it will linger, so you can still get caught in it sometimes. But he just spams poison everywhere when he's possessed. Poison and his little beads are just a lot faster and more spammy. They do insane damage for some reason, and you can't do damage to the red guy basically at all. So when he possesses someone, it's basically just a waiting game because you can kill the guy he's possessing, and it does do tiny chip damage to the red boss, the top health bar, the red bug thing. But the main way of defeating this boss is having him unpossess them and then repossess them, because every time he possesses one of the 2 bosses, he takes a little chunk of health to possess them. So it literally is a battle of attrition. You basically have to wait them out to death. You can beat them up. Sometimes the moth is not invincible once he leaves the body, so you can do some damage, but like I said, he takes no damage, like whatsoever. So it literally is just a battle of attrition, like I said 1,000 times already. It's not fun, it's unenjoyable, it's easy, because honestly, I've only lost to him once or twice, and that being because it's also buggy. What happened yesterday or 2 days ago for me was we absolutely destroyed his first phase so quickly. He spawned the red ghost bug thing, and he revived them, and we killed them both, and he just never possessed any of them. He just disappeared. He just said see ya and faded away. And it ended a run. We didn't win because we were just standing around looking like idiots. The raider with us said goodbye and left the game. I don't blame him, and we certainly looked after him. It killed my mood so bad. Did not want to play Nightreign that day because I'm not Sentient Pest is just the most buggiest. There's also been times where the moth and the red dude will actually go outside of the arena. So if you're not playing a ranged character, you just can't hit them. This boss is just extremely buggy and not fun. I had not much to say about him. My words are taken out of. They need to fix him. They need to make him less annoying. They need to make the red guy take more damage. They need to make them have more unique attacks because honestly, I'd rather just fight the normal version because this version sucks. So that leaves Sentient Pest for me at a whopping, I would say, 3 out of 10. Just because he does have moments. His first phase is, his first phase from the original fight. And he isn't hard, so I guess that bumps him up a little bit so he can get the fight over with. But he's just not fun. Everything about him, like I said, is just not fun. So that's my ranking slash review of each of the Everdark bosses so far. I'm excited for what we get later on. I'm terrified of Libra because Libra honestly is still one of the harder bosses for me. So is Holster or the Night Lord, however you say it. Um, I'm interested to see what they do with those guys, especially Libra because Libra is already so difficult. Like, what can they do with him? Fission of Fog is beautiful, but honestly, his boss fight is underwhelming as well. Um, I'm excited to see what they do with Gladius because Gladius is also like one of the easiest bosses since he's the first one. I would love if they just did a 180 and made him like extremely hard in the Everdark version of him. I'm also curious if they will make Augur better. Like, Augur needs some love and to be better because he is honestly the most hated boss. Definitely my lowest rated boss. Um, and then I wonder if they're gonna do an Everdark version of the Night Lord, uh, Holistor, whatever you say his name. Because it'd be cool if like you couldn't fight him unless you beat 3 of the Everdarks. Like, you know how it is in base game where you have to like beat 3 or 4 Night Lords to unlock him. So that's it. Thank you for watching. See ya.